for the Bengals defense and where they rank in the NFL this season, I think the most outrageous number of all is actually a surprising one. Trey Hendrickson came into this weekend as the NFL's leader in sacks, and yet the Bengals rank 30th in the NFL, third to last in sacks. It makes almost no sense. But the other numbers here aren't great either. Second to last in points per game, bottom 6 in yards per game. So when I say the Bengals defense just needs to be average for the team to be good, this is what I mean. This is well below average. Here is head coach Zac Taylor following Sunday's loss.
No, it's a team. You know, they won the turnover battle. In these games, when it comes down to a single score game, that oftentimes can be it. So we got to find ways to create more turnovers, certainly. You know, the turnovers that we had on offense are, you know, one's a tip, pick. I mean, it's really just them making a play. You know, Hayward got his hands up, made a play. We had the strip sack, you know, so Joe's never going to see that coming from behind him. And then the other one, again, kind of came from behind him, and TJ got the ball out. So, but in these games, that's what it comes down to. So I think it's 3-1 in the turnover battle, and when it's a one-score game, it's as simple as that. So we got to find more ways to create turnovers. I know guys were trying. I know guys were trying to rip it out, but we got to find a way to do it.
How disappointing was the tackling today coming off of a bye?
I mean, anytime, you know, I'm not going to say they gave up 44. You give up 37 points. We just got to find ways to get stops, and that starts with tackling. And, you know, credit to their offense. I thought they did a great job. I thought Arthur had a great plan. They executed it, kept us off balance, kept themselves in really manageable second downs. And, man, that shows by the score.
Did you feel like the effort was where it needed to be in the tackling situation?
Yeah, I don't question the effort. You know, we just got to get guys on the ground, because there was great examples at times of guys hitting and making tackles. But again, overall, the consistency of it wasn't good enough.
Do you feel like the message is still getting through from coaching staff to players at this point on defense?
I do, because you're seeing moments where they're getting us back in the game. It's in the second half. Sometimes it's too little, too late. We're still having our opportunities there. But again, we got good leadership on that side. Guys I trust. Guys that it means a lot to them. And so again, at this point, we're counting on everybody to stick together and find a way to make some plays to get us some wins.
What kind of conversations are you having with Lou on the sideline when you're obviously trying to scheme whatever possible to get them stopped? What are those discussions? Yeah, just trying to help where I can. What I'm seeing from their offense and things that they may be looking for from our defense. Trying to give them any help. But again, that's you know, those guys have prepared for many seasons and done a great job for us. And so just when times are tough doesn't mean you gotta change the whole thing on the fly. So I still got a lot of trust in those guys, and we just got to figure out a way to get some stops.
Zach, they had 518 total yards and the 37 points that you brought up there most this season. I saw Jordan Battle was getting a lot more reps at safety. Are there any other considerations maybe for moves with different players in there after?
No, I mean, we every single week we've been here, we're trying to put the right people in position to win the game.
What is your message to the team after a game like that?
Stick together, take accountability. We got good people in the locker room, and you know it's an emotional game. You know, especially in a divisional game like this, especially with where we're at in the season. You know, I think it's normal for emotions to run high, but at the same time, we just got to take accountability for anything we can and stick together and find a way to find a win. You know, we just got to get ourselves some momentum. That's 3 games in a row now that have all been one-possession games. We haven't done enough to earn the win. It's as simple as that. It's nobody else's fault but our own. We haven't earned it. And so now there's still opportunity in front of us to get some momentum for ourselves. I don't know what the outlook is for the season, but I know that we're Monday Night Football at Dallas Cowboys, and I expect our guys to respond the right way, you know, and have a great week and get ready to go and find a way to get on a winning streak instead of, you know, being on this 3-game losing streak we've been on.
And that's head coach Zac Taylor following the Bengals' 44-38 loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mentioned prior to hearing from head coach Zac Taylor that we've seen on tape, right, this season what's going on with the Bengals defense. And I don't think you have to be a football expert. I don't think you have to be a former player to understand what you're seeing and what the problems are, right? Ask your mom or your dad, your brother or your sister, your significant other. Find somebody in your life that doesn't watch football. Show them what you're watching, and I would bet that they can understand what they're seeing, right? There are receivers left wide open. There are plays allowed to be extended by the opposing offense that probably shouldn't be. There are too many missed tackles. These things are fundamental parts of football, but how do you fix them? That's what the Bengals have been struggling with for the entirety of this season. Let's take a break. When we come back, the Bengals are still alive in the playoff picture. Doesn't look good. We will break it down next. On this week's edition of Sports of All Sorts. After today's 44-38 loss to the Steelers, Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow said the playoffs are the farthest thing from his mind right now. And considering the fact that NFL Next Gen Stats has their playoff chances at 4% right now, playoffs probably should be the last thing on the minds of any Bengals fans right now, but I will still show you the playoff picture graphic, and you can look at this a couple different ways. You can try to figure out the path for the Bengals to get in, which would basically be the Broncos losing 3 of their last 5 games, including, of course, the one to the Bengals in a few weeks. The Bengals would need to win out, and the Colts and Dolphins would need to lose some games as well. The other way to approach this is a lot easier, and that is to look at it and just say, wow, it doesn't look good. We spoke to players in the locker room following today's loss. Here's part of what they said.
I mean, it's frustrating, but it's just we got to figure it out and try to turn this thing around for the last 5 games.
See, it's a team game. Is it hard to fathom how many times you guys have scored a lot of points and just have not been able to come away with a W?
Yeah, but I mean at the same time, defense played amazing today. They played good enough to where we could have won the game. We can't have those turnovers like we did on offense, and the outcome would be probably totally different. So we just got to figure it out and get it going.
Pittsburgh has not given up a lot of points this year. I mean, if somebody had said to you the Bengals will score 38 today, I'm guessing you would have thought it would have been an easy win.
Yeah, for sure. A hell of a defense. They played a good game today. And, they made the plays when it was needed. So
we just got to play better. I mean, like I said, they're going to make their plays, but we have to make it difficult for them, and we have to make our plays when we have the opportunity. And we just haven't done that well enough throughout this whole year, and, it kind of set us back this year.
I think a lot of people come to you because you've seen so much football.
Yeah.
The question I would ask is, the deficiencies on defense, do you think it's personnel? Do you think it's scheme?
That's above my pay grade, man. I just go out there and do my job when coaches put me on the field.
Again, as we're sitting here again in December now saying, we just didn't do enough to win the game, and that's what it was. We lost by one possession yet again. That sucks. And, we got to find a way to beat the Dallas Cowboys.
Do you have an explanation in your own mind for why this season just has gone the way it has?
I think there's a thin line margin of error in the NFL, and if you look at our games, look back at our games, do a self-scout. I mean, everyone can pick 1 or 2 plays that if we've done a little bit differently, that one-score game flips in our favor. So this team's got to learn to find a way to win.
All right, so the Bengals fall 44-38 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They are now 4-8 this season with 5 games remaining. If they win all 5 of their remaining games, they would finish at 9-8, which is the same record they finished with 1 season ago. It was not good enough to get them into the playoffs last year. 9-8, mathematically speaking, gives you about a 50-50 shot at the playoffs. The fact is, even if the Bengals win out from this point forward, they are going to need some help if they want to get in. Take a quick break. We'll be right back. One final time on Sports of All Sorts tonight. With the 44-38 loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday, the Bengals are now 4-8 this season with 5 games remaining. The first of those remaining 5 games is next Monday night on the road in Dallas against the Cowboys. If the Bengals want to make the playoffs, mentioned it earlier, they in all likelihood need to win all of their remaining 5 games, and they're going to need some help from other teams across the league, but it is still possible. I should mention that game next Monday night, following a slightly longer week of preparation for the Bengals. The game Monday night is live right here on WCPO. Hope you join us for that. Hope you join us again next week on Sports of All Sorts. Until then, have a great week, everybody.